Rachel, will you call pledge or call pledge? Will you call roll, please?
Absolutely. Chair Eggline,
Here.
Vice Chair Tholt,
Present.
Commissioner Shirtliff.
Here.
Ms. Beckwith is absent. Mr. Top.
Here.
We have 4 members present. We have a quorum. Please note, all 4 members need to vote the same way for any motion to pass.
Not yet. We need to approve minutes. Right? Yes.
That is correct.
And the applicants here? Okay, perfect.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from February 4th, 2025 Board of Adjustment meeting.
All second.
Any discussion? Seeing none. All those approve?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None.
Good evening, Board of Adjustment. Tonight we have one item, the variance application for 910 Helena Ave. The variance review criteria is to approve a requested variance for a new building or portion thereof. The Board of Adjustment shall consider the following standards and find as follows. Variance will not create a significant risk to the public, health, safety, or general welfare. The variance will not significantly reduce or impair the peaceful use of existing property or improvements in the vicinity in the zoning district in which the subject property is located, and strict compliance with provisions of this title would create unnecessary hardship or practical difficulty. In evaluating the standards in C above, the Board of Adjustment may consider the following factors: special conditions and circumstances that are unique to the applicant's site, the height, location, or dimensions of existing structures located on the site or in the vicinity of the site, whether there is a prevalence of nonconformities in the vicinity of the site that are similar to the variance requested, the subsequent imposition of zoning restrictions created nonconforming lots or parcels, and governmental actions beyond the applicant's control, whether a literal interpretation of provisions of this title would deprive the property owner of the rights commonly enjoyed by the properties similarly situated in the same district under the terms of this title, the extent to which the hardship or difficulty results from the actions of the applicant, and whether granting the variance requested will confer an unreasonable special privilege to the subject property that is not available to other properties similarly located in the same zoning district. Section 1155F of City Code states the following: the Board of Adjustment may impose conditions to minimize adverse impacts that the variance may have on the public health, safety, or general welfare. Any approval that includes conditions and is subject to the terms of the conditions. Conditions stated in the approval may include, but are not limited to, a time period in which the proposed structure shall be completed and other conditions necessary to mitigate adverse effects from the variance. It is the recommendation of the city's attorney's office that staff does not make a recommendation to approve or deny a variance. Montana law states the Board of Adjustment has authority to consider, upon appeal in specific cases, such variance from the terms of the ordinance as well as will not be contrary to public interest, where, owing to special conditions, a literal enforcement of the provisions of the ordinance will result in unnecessary hardship, and so that the spirit of the ordinance shall be observed and substantial justice done. 76-2323 Montana Code Annotated. If the Board of Adjustment approves the requested variances, the following conditions are recommended. The building permit must be obtained within 1 year. Item 1, 910 Helena Avenue, consideration of a variance from section 1142 to decrease the side lot line setback minimum from 6 feet to 1 foot in a B1 zoning district of an existing garage for a property with a legal description of all of Lot 14 and Block 25 of the Chessman and Davis Central Addition to the City of Helena, Montana, as said lot and block are numbered, designated, and described on the official plat of said Chessman and Davis Central Addition to the City of Helena, Montana, on file of record and in Book 1 plats at page 18 in the office of the County Clerk and Recorder of Lewis and Clark County, Montana, less the portion of Lot 14 described in document number 492214, as filed with the Clerk and Recorder of Lewis and Clark County, Montana. Variance two, or number two, a variance from section 1142 to decrease the rear lot line setback minimum from 15 feet to 13 foot 1 inch in a B1 zoning district for an existing dwelling unit for a property with legal description of all of lot 14 and block 25 of the Chessman Davis Central Addition to the city of Helena, Montana, as said lot and blocks are numbered, designated, and described on the official plat of said Chessman and Davis Central Addition to the city of Helena, Montana on file and of record in Book 1 plats at page 18 in the office of the county clerk and recorder of Lewis and Clark County, Montana, less the portion of lot 14 described in document number 492214 as filed with the clerk and recorder of Lewis and Clark County, Montana. A variance from section 1142 to decrease the side lot line setback minimum from 6 feet to 4 feet in a B1 zoning district for an existing storage building for a property with a legal description of all of lot 14 and block 25 of the Chessman and Davis Central Addition to the city of Helena, Montana, as said lot and block are numbered, designated and described on the official plat of said Chessman and Davis Central Addition to the city of Helena, Montana on file of record in Book 1 plats at page 18 in the office of the county clerk and recorder of Lewis and Clark County, Montana, less portion of lot 14 described in document number 492214 as filed with the clerk and recorder of Lewis and Clark County, Montana, and the west half of lot 5 and all of lots 6 and 7 in block 25 of the Chessman and Davis Central Addition, sometimes known as Central Addition 1 and 2, to the city of Helena, as said lots and block are numbered, designated and described on the official plat of said addition on file and of record in the office of the clerk and recorder, Lewis and Clark County, Montana, and lots 8, 9, 10, and 11, and the following tract of land in lot 14, block 25, Central Addition, sometimes written Central Addition number 2 of the city of Helena, Montana, to wit, a tract of land in lot 14, block 25, Central Addition to Helena, Montana, more particularly described as follows, beginning at a point on the northwesterly line of said lot 14, which said point bears south 30 degrees, 15 west 126.9 feet, more or less from the northwest corner of said lot 14, thence from the said point of beginning south 59 degrees, 45 feet east, 16.9 feet to a point on the southeasterly line of said lot 14, then south 64 degrees, 22 feet west, 30.2 feet along the southeasterly line of said lot 14 to its intersection with the northwesterly line of said lot 14, thence north 30 degrees, 15 feet east, 25 feet more or less along the northwesterly line of said lot 14 to the said point of beginning, and that portion of land lying in block 25 of the Central Addition to the city of Helena, Lewis and Clark County, Montana, more particularly described as follows, all of lot 12 and the northeasterly 50 feet measure along Helena Avenue of lot 13. This land contains 3,969 square feet more or less. This variance is to allow for an aggregation and boundary line relocation requesting less than minimum setbacks for existing structures. History of the applicable permitting action for the 910 Helena Avenue address or property, we have 1954 was the earliest building permit. 1958, we have a building permit for an addition. 1977, there was a height limit variance that was approved. 1980, there was a building permit for the storage shed. 2005, there was a building permit for the ADA ramp installation and various permits for electrical, plumbing, remodel, etc. from 1957 to 2023. The 927 North Warren Street property, earliest building permit on file was 1950. 1953 was a building permit for the garage. 1980 was a building permit for steel siding, and 1982 was a building permit for a re-roof. Here we have the property location. It is in the general area of the southeasterly area of Warren, 15th, and Helena Ave. This is a general overview of the site plan. And here is a more granular version of the site plan. Shown is the plat. The first two photos are the commercial property, with the third photo being the rear of the commercial property and the fourth photo being the residential property. Top two images show two of the three conditions that we'll be looking at tonight. And the bottom image shows the distance from the neighboring property to the residential, as well as the storage shed on the commercial property. Surrounding area and neighborhood consists of B1 zoning and R3 zoning, with residential homes ranging from construction in late 1800s, mid 1900s, as well as other businesses such as R&B drive-through and a dental office across the street. This variance will serve the following purposes: aggregate existing lots and relocate boundary lines, place the existing detached storage building and parking areas onto the same lot as the commercial building, Lot 8A, without new construction, relocating boundary lines, which would maintain parking for commercial property while separating the two parcels. City department comments. Building department had the comment of 1 hour fire resistive construction required where boundary line relocation occurs within 5 feet of the existing residential structures. The existing exterior wall of the structure shall be made to comply with the 2021 International Residential Code for the remaining residential property, and where less than 10 feet for commercial property, exterior walls to be 1 hour fire rated in compliance with the 2021 IBC. Applies to existing garage on the residential side and existing storage on the commercial side. Modifications shall be made at the time of the amended plat. Engineering had no comment. Fire, the Helena Fire Department approves, assuming fire department access or response to this address is not affected. Public Works, no comment. Transportation, 20-foot setback is to ensure pedestrian access. 20-foot setback from a garage entrance to a property line is to ensure that a vehicle can park in a driveway without impeding a public sidewalk that is opposed to be constructed along the property line. City Code Section 742. There's currently no sidewalk around the property except along Helena Ave. And TSD would recommend that the owners sign a waiver of right to protest any future road, sidewalk, special improvement district for both parties. Planning Department recommends reconfiguration of the fence separating the residential parcel from the commercial parcel to allow legal and physical access to the commercial property owner. As of Tuesday, March 18th, 2025, one public comment has been received. The neighboring property owner had concerns of water drainage and flooding onto their property during times of heavy rain. And here we have the motion to approve or deny. Oh, apologize. A variance from section 1142 to decrease the side lot line setback minimum from 6 feet to 1 feet in a B1 zoning district of an existing garage for property with the previously described legal description. A variance from section 1142 to decrease the rear lot line setback minimum from 15 to 13 foot 1 inch in a B1 zoning district for an existing dwelling unit for property with the previously described legal description. And a variance from section 1142 to decrease the side lot line setback minimum from 6 feet to 4 feet in a B1 zoning district for an existing storage building with the previously described legal description. And upon this, a building permit must be obtained within 1 year. Does the Board of Adjustment have any further questions for city staff?
Madam Chair, I have some questions. Mr. Goodrich, I have a question about this, the building permit situation, since obviously there's nothing being constructed. And one of the comments was in relation to fire rated construction from the building department. So I guess just wondering how that gets enforced in this case, or what's the process? And maybe this is more of a question for the ownership team potentially, but I'm just curious about that. Like, would we even need to have that as a condition in this case, since it's nothing's being constructed, or yes?
Well, so currently, whether or not this variance is approved or denied, the building permit would move forward.
Building permit for what? Because they're not constructing anything, are they? They're just existing buildings?
What I do know is there's a building permit in the system currently that was
Okay.
applied for.
Okay.
So far, if this variance was to be approved, it meets, well, there is currently a building permit in the system that's on hold. Whether or not that goes through, I haven't looked at the exact details, but it has similar site plan in here. I don't
Okay.
believe they plan on constructing anything. You would be correct that more details would probably be provided by the building department.
Right. Yeah, maybe we'll have the owners clarify that when they and their intentions of when they come up and present. Thank you.
So far, this information was provided by the building department, so I'm relaying that comment.
This is where I'm confused. I feel like maybe there's something just really simple that I missed. So was a commercial property, they purchased this building and they're having it added to their, or they already own the building and it's over? Why?
There is one owner for both residential and the commercial property.
Okay, so we're splitting is what we're doing.
Correct.
Thank you. I missed that.
It's an aggregation and boundary line relocation.
Yeah, I'm not terribly familiar with that, but thank you. I can understand the purpose of this now.
No questions.
All right, thank you. The applicant would come forward. Present.
Good evening. If I may, I'd like to start by thanking everybody for being here tonight, rescheduling this meeting. I know everybody's busy and their time's valuable, so thank you for being here. If I could start by discussing the project a little bit. I know it's convoluted. This is an older part of town. There's numerous, I think 11 city lots and vacated alley rights of way that we're working with here. So a few things. All of these properties that we're looking at are owned by one entity, which is Rosemar Incorporated. Jonna Perriman is a registered agent for this, so Signatory Authority takes care of it. Morrison merely was a tenant of these buildings before they moved into their new building. So our goal here is to support moving the storage building onto the same property as the commercial building so that it may be sold. The residential building and the residential garage will be on another property. So we're going to wind up with two properties in the end, two parcels, two lots, if you will, starting with, I believe, 11. So that's the aggregation portion. And the boundary line relocation is to follow current occupation. So the rebuttable presumption, I'm just a land surveyor, but in the land use, land surveying world, that might be something like this roadway is centered within a right-of-way. This fence represents a boundary. So as you go to this site, you'll see a fence, you see parking lot.
Could you bring up the site plan, please, so that we can follow along?
So the boulder line is where we're proposing our final boundaries for lot 14A and lot 8A. The kind of dashed underlying lines are all of the existing city lots that we'll be aggregating. It would be impossible to bring all those up to current code. So in the end, winding up with two lots that we can ask for less variances and do our best. So there's no construction proposed at this time, building construction. There will be need to reconfigure the fence. If you can imagine where there's the leader going to propose boundary line 3 inches south and east of fence, that does extend straight to the storage building. So it'll have to be rerouted around so that the owner of the commercial property will have full access around that building. Utilities are mostly aerial. They're coming in from the overhead. There are gas lines that go straight to Warren Avenue. So where we've followed the parking lot, there is a garage there. The asphalt goes about to the base of the garage. Again, at one point, this was all commonly owned. I believe that was the survey annex at one point. I heard some good old stories back when they were there. So we tried to follow that existing parking lot to the fence and around, and then did the best we could. The way these buildings are constructed, you just can't meet modern setbacks. Like, these were constructed and permitted with the codes that were in practice at the time. So without the variance, I mean, you'd have to move the building at some point or acquire other land. So this is the simplest way to achieve the goal of putting the storage building on the same commercial property and the garage on the residence. And then they could be sold. And the intent right now is that they're going to maintain the residential building, and they're both rentals at this time. So any other, I know it's a very convoluted site, so I had fun figuring it out, but were there any questions that I could help with?
Mr. Fish, I have a question. I'm just going back to the fire rated construction question. As far as the process to actually get approved for a boundary line adjustment, are they gonna try to help manage that side of things through that process potentially? Are you guys planning on updating anything construction wise as far as those fire ratings go, to make sure that the buildings maintain public safety in those cases?
Yeah, safety is paramount. Until we read the comments, there was no planned construction. The owners have said they're willing to make those improvements for the purpose of safety. So
Mr. Top, I did want to clarify, while I was sitting here, I realized I was saying building permit. What I meant to say was there's an amended plat on hold.
thank you.
So I really apologize for that.
Any further questions for the applicant? Great, thank you.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Travis. Great job.
All right, I will open it for public comment. Is there public comment?
Good evening. My name is Jeannie Keller. My husband Kurt and I own the property at 931 North Warren. It's a weird little triangle, but if you've eaten at the RB, you've seen it. We're the only residential, there is someone who lives in the house beside us, but it's been part of that. When Morrison Merrily was there, they had workers in that building. We're not opposed to the separation, but as they mentioned before, the building is not up to code, so there's drainage issues. So when there is a heavy rain, everything from the Morrison, it's not that building anymore, the commercial building, runs down and it runs towards the rental property and then our property. And so both of our homes have flooded over the years. And so my husband and I have had to truck in dirt to build up a berm there. So the drainage issues are our concern. And so I don't know that this is gonna cause a problem, but that is our concern. Because before it was the same owner. If we had a beef with anything that happened with that property, we knew, but now it's gonna separate. Well, possibly.
All right, thank you. Anybody online or any additional public comment?
We do not have any members of the public online, just for
Okay.
the record.
Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you. My name is Greg Zeller. I represent the potential buyer of this property. And it's good to know about the drainage issues. We weren't aware of that. And it's good to have clarification on the building permit in process because we weren't aware of anything like that, but we were aware that there was adjustments that were on record. But yeah, I mean, this is all existing use and just making adjustment to the boundaries so that they make sense for the current and future ownership of the property. And we'd certainly be open to, what is happening as far as drainage, how often it's happened, because we have not seen that, and I'm not disputing it in any way. We've not seen evidence of water damage in the existing storage building. But I don't doubt that there's been something happening there. So I would like to know if there's been any mitigation attempts made. So thank you. And just here to speak on in support of this adjustment. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Good evening. My name is Mark Rundy. I'm agent of the seller, and I would like to speak in support. Engineer did a great job putting this together, and I think they did things the best they could. I think it looks great. I shouldn't see any problems moving forward. You keep in mind the seller is retaining the house, so I believe they're doing this in the best way possible because they have to deal with this moving forward. So I believe it's a good solution. And again, thanks for coming in. Yeah, let's make it happen.
All right, thank you.
Good evening. I'm Ingrid Hill, and I am with Ability Montana. And so I work for the company that is potentially the buyer for this property. And I'm in support and just wanted to say I'm here for any questions you all might have. As you probably saw from pictures, all of the access for this existing storage garage is all from the commercial property parking lot. So I don't want to spend any more time repeating things, but appreciate your time and consideration. I'm here for any questions.
Ask one more time just so that we're in the clear. Any more public comment? Okay. I'm not seeing any, so I'm going to open it up for board discussion.
I'll start. I think it makes sense aggregating, making this 11 lots into 2. I think that's the reason this board was put into place, is to work through these common sense solutions. The only thing I think discussion wise for me is if we want to put some mitigation efforts in for the building department's comments to make sure those happen on the safety side. So we would add those because they're not going to have a building permit for us to lean back on to make sure that happens without us putting it into motion.
Maybe. I would argue that nothing needs to happen unless there's future construction on it, as opposed to having to add something. Because I mean, it's existing, nothing's changing other than lines on a piece of paper.
I would agree with that. I would agree that we are not changing anything, and that by all rights, it probably doesn't need to be brought up to code unless we build something, right?
Yeah,
Because we wouldn't do it otherwise.
yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah.
the idea with existing
agree.
building code.
Changing owners wouldn't require you to bring it up to code.
Yeah,
That's fair.
okay,
I'm with you.
okay.
I agree.
Thanks.
Good discussion.
Any further board discussion?
I do see it as a change in the condition that's, building code wise, you are required to rate those walls if they're within a property line, and you are creating a property line there that wasn't there before. But I also don't know what authority we have necessarily in this case to implement that or how we would go about it. So, I mean, I do think you are creating a different condition that building code wise does require you to rate it. But again, I don't know how we would go about that, because there's no building permit, so.
And just to echo my colleagues here, I agree, Tim, is that this is what this board's for, and looking forward to supporting this.
Okay, I'm of the same opinion also. Makes sense. So, would somebody like to make a motion?
I just have one more question on the motion, please. So since there is no building permit, do we need to include that recommended condition?
So typically in the past with variances for an amended plat, the condition has been that an amended plat be filed within 1 year.
Okay.
But any other conditions that you feel appropriate to mitigate any concerns you have, you can add as well. That is in the earlier in the presentation. So there you go.
Would you like further discussion or are you feeling okay? We're good. Okay.
I was going to motion, but I see Tim's got his green light on over there.
Oh,
I'm happy to do it.
I can make the motion. I will make a motion to approve a variance from section 11-4-2 to decrease the side lot line setback minimum from 6 foot to 1 foot in a B1 zoning district of an existing garage for a property with a legal description of all of lot 14 and block 25 of the Chessman and Davis Central Addition to the city of Helena, as said lot, block, and are numbered, designated, and described on the official plot of said Chessman and Davis Central Addition to the city of Helena, Montana, on file and record in plot by book 1 plots at page 18 in the office of the county clerk and recorder of Lewis and Clark County, Montana, less the portion of lot 14 described in document 492214 is filed with the clerk and recorder of Lewis and Clark County, Montana. With the condition that an amended plot is filed within 1 year.
Second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none. April, will you do a roll call?
Chair Eggline,
Yes.
Vice Chair Tholt,
Yes.
Commissioner Shirtliff,
Aye.
Ms. Beckwith is absent, and Mr. Top.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Madam Chair, I will make a motion. A move to approve a variance for section 11-4-2 to decrease the rear lot line setback minimum from 15 feet. Are we doing this now? Is that okay?
Pardon?
Is this okay to do this right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Thought I heard something somewhere was. Okay, 15 feet to 13 feet, 1 inch in the B1 zoning district for an existing dwelling unit for the property with the legal description of all of lot 14 in block 25 of the Chessman and Davis Central Addition to the city of Helena, Montana, as said lot and block are numbered, designated, and described on the official plat of the Chessman and Davis Central Addition to the city of Helena on file for the record in book number 1, plats at page 18 in the office of the county clerk and recorder of Lewis and Clark County, Montana, less the portion of lot 14 described in the document number 492214 as filed with the clerk and recorder of Lewis and Clark County, Montana, with the condition they file an amended plat within 1 year.
I'll second the motion.
Any further board discussion? Okay, seeing none. April, will you call roll?
Chair Eglin,
Yes.
Vice Chair Thult,
Aye.
Commissioner Shertliff,
Aye.
Mr. Top.
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right, I'll make a motion or move to approve a variance from section 11-4-2 to decrease the side lot line setback minimum from 6 feet to 4 feet in a B1 zoning district for an existing storage building for a property with a legal description of all of lot 14 in block 25 of the Chessman and Davis Central Addition to the city of Helena, Montana, as said lot and block are numbered, designated, and described on the official plat of said Chessman and Davis Central Addition to the city of Helena, Montana, on file and of record in Book 1 plats at page 18 in the office of the county clerk and recorder of Lewis and Clark County, Montana, less the portion of lot 14 described in document number 492214 as filed with the clerk and recorder of Lewis and Clark County, Montana, and the west half of lot 5 and all of lots 6 and 7 in block 25 of the Chessman and Davis Central Addition, sometimes known as Central Addition 1 and 2, to the city of Helena, as said lots and blocks are numbered, designated, and described on the official plat of said addition on file and of record in the office of the clerk and recorder, Lewis and Clark County, Montana, and lots 8, 9, 10, and 11, and the following tract of land in lot 14, block 25, Central Addition, sometimes written Central Addition number 2 of the city of Helena, Montana, to wit, a tract of land in lot 14, block 25, Central Addition to Helena, Montana, more particularly described as follows, beginning at a point of the northwesterly line of said lot 14, which said point bears south 30 degrees, 15 feet west, 126.9 feet, more or less, from the northwest corner of said lot 14, thence from the said point of beginning south 59 degrees, 45 degrees east, 16.9 feet, to a point of the southeasterly line of said lot 14, thence south 64 degrees, 22 feet west, 30.2 feet along the southeasterly line of said lot 14 to its intersection with the northwesterly line of the said lot 14, thence north 30 degrees, 15 feet east, 25 feet more or less along the northwesterly line of said lot 14 to the said point of beginning, and that portion of land lying in block 25 of the Central Addition to the city of Helena, Lewis and Clark County, Montana, more particularly described as follows: all of lot 12 in the northeasterly 50 feet measured along Helena Avenue of lot 13. This land contains 3,969 square feet, more or less, with the condition that an amended plat must be filed within 1 year.
I'll second.
Board discussion? I see none. April, will you call roll?
Chair Eglin,
Yes.
Vice Chair Thult,
Aye.
Commissioner Shertliff,
Aye.
Mr. Top.
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right. Is there any additional general public comment? I see none. April, should we talk about when our next meeting is?
So our next scheduled meeting is April 1st. However, we know we will not have enough board members available for that meeting. So our next meeting is in May. Let's see here, that's May 6th is our next meeting. And we do have at least 2 items currently. So if anybody has any conflicts, let me know.
Somebody like to motion for adjournment?
Make a motion to adjourn our, April, March 18th meeting.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.